What's going on, you guys? Slim here at the YBM first ever case tournament, first IRL event here in Southern California, well over a year, and we're here with the first place undefeated player. What is your name, sir?
Pavle Medvidovic. And none of you are going to get that right.
And what did you play to win this tournament?
I played Zombie World Eldlich.
Really?
Yes.
In this format?
Absolutely in this format.
And you went undefeated.
Have you seen Dragons under Zombie World? I absolutely went undefeated. I kicked everybody's asses. And by that I mean I went 2-1 a lot, but it's fine.
Awesome. It doesn't matter. You still won it. It was 108 players for anyone who's wondering. Again, biggest event we've had. First Royal event. It's awesome. You play the craziest deck. Absolutely love it. Do you have any shout-outs? We're going to do shout-outs first because I know you guys aren't going to watch till the end.
Okay, so I'd like to shout out Kylie, my girlfriend, mainly for putting up with me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd like to shout out my siblings, Gula, Sasha, Royal, and Quina, also for putting up with me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! You'll start to kind of see a trend here. I'd like to shout out my mom and dad for being wow this entire day. I'd like to shout out Brandon Belecki. He streams on Twitch as Slow Scoped with a 0 and a 3 instead of an E. 0 for the O, 3 instead of the E. He and I have talked about this deck a lot. We've live it a little bit. He's on the core I know him through the core TCG remote duel server. There's also a guy Mukin on the core TCG remote duel server. And then I'd like to shout out my roommate Ben and my friend Marcus for also putting up with me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Awesome, man. Any more?
Oh, I was just going to go straight into matchups.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So, run 1 Dino with Scrap Raptor. That was 2-1. Game 1 he made me go first. That was a bad idea for him. Game 2 I thought he still, he'd said lightning storms or something, making me go first. He went first, so that didn't end too well for me. Game 2, Pure Zoo. I believe that was my only 2-0 of the day. Just was able to outgrind him with the Eldlich stuff. Game 3, Zoo Lich. That went to, there was a pretty tense 2-1. Game 4, Dragon Link. Dragon Link was also a 2-0, my bad. Game 5, Drytron. Game 6, Drytron. And then Game 7 was actually PK Fire, which I was pretty surprised about. So
I believe that guy also topped. So
he absolutely got second. His deck was crazy. All right, so since it's Zombie Eldlich, you have kind of your zombie cards and you have your Eldlich cards. So I run 1 Doom King Baylor Drock. In normal zombie builds, you run 2 of this. I think that's bricky because I already have the Eldliches, so I only run the 1. And they're kind of substitutes for each other in the sense that if your opponent only has 1 called by the grave, so they'll either call by your Eldlich to get your entire engine offline, or they're called by this because this card is freaking amazing. When a zombie monster activates its effect, you can either negate that or banish a monster from the field or graveyard. That is non-targeting. Does out Dragoon if you bait the negate. So after that, 2 Banshee. So Banshee gets you Zombie World at any point, just quick effect banish. Zombie World is kind of the linchpin of this deck. It's very good against stuff like Dragon, Tri-Zoo, Dino. To a lesser extent Drytron, but a lot of their problems have kind of been fixed by the Diviner and Mu Beta. But if they can't make Mu Beta somehow, they cannot activate their Ritual spell because they need specifically machine monsters on field in their hand. So that's kind of nice. 3 Unizombie. So I run a pretty small zombie package. Unizombie is the best zombie starter, by far, bar none. You can run solitaires and stuff, but you only really want to get to Baylor Drock anyway, so I think Unizombie is fine for that. You can discard stuff from hand for the Eldlich engine and whatnot, and then you can also you can send stuff from deck to graveyard, so it's the Foolish Burial. 1 Glow Bloom. This is the worst normal summon in the deck. I would consider Banshee better, but it's also spoiler. This gets you, so if Zombie World is on the field and this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and then immediately special summon a level 5 or higher zombie monster. So that's pretty useful. And then if Zombie World isn't on the field, you just add it to hand. So you can go Bloom into Link Karibo, add Eldlich, and then send Eldlich to destroy a back, or send a back row. I run 1 Foolish. I realize this is not technically part of the zombie engine, but it's part of the zombie engine and nobody can tell me otherwise. 2 Zombie World. We have 2 Banshee. Banshee can protect Zombie World on field from targeting and destruction, and we only really need 2. 3 is not necessary. It's not like we can still play with just Eldlich, so this is fine. And then this isn't technically part of the zombie engine, but you're running it because you run Zombie World. Super Poly. Drago Necro, Nether Soul Dragon. Insane. archetypal super poly targets. Like I run Crankkids Weather Washers, insane. Mud Dragon of the Swamp, insane. So like all the standard super poly targets, and there's also a kind of fun one in the deck. So then on to the Eldlich stuff. That's the zombie stuff. That's 13 cards. Eldlich, 2 Golden Lord. This is the standard ratio. There's no reason not to play 2. Sometimes you want 3, but it's like, why would you brick that much? 3 Eldland, consistency card, very good. So in terms of Eldlixirs, I play, in addition to the 3 Sanguine, which you'll see in a second, I play 2 black and a white. So every Eldlixir can get every zombie card provided that you already have Eldlich on field, and these cards help you play around Ash Blossom. The thing is, if you like lead with a normal summoned Unizombie, they will try to Ash that effect, but if you lead with this, they'll Ash this first, and then you can like resolve Unizombie to dump whatever you want to the graveyard. So I think this helps with the deck's like kind of weakness to Ash Blossom. White Destiny, and sorry, these are also great starters. White Destiny sucks as a starter. If you have like Eldlich in hand, I mean, that's probably a bad hand, but White Destiny is searchable, and it does help you get around stuff like Called by the Grave. It's also not ashable, and in the current climate, I think Bell will rise in popularity as people run more Tri-Brigade Zodiac, but in the current climate, this is pretty great because it can get a zombie back from the graveyard. 3 Sanguine. So every Eldlixir can summon from 2 places. So black is hand or deck. White is graveyard or hand. And then Sanguine is the best one because it's graveyard or deck. And that's where like most of your recursion is coming from. One of the things that I like to do with this is summon Banshee off of it. If I have Zombie World up and I summon Banshee off of this, that Zombie World is now untargetable and indestructible by card effects. So you need a non-targeting Banish to get rid of it. And the only meta-relevant card that I can think of that non-targeting banishes like spells and traps would be the Shreg, the Ominous Omen, the Tri-Brigade Link 4. But you can't summon that with Zombie World on the field, so it's fine. Yeah, so I like to do that, and then obviously it's just like, it's good for getting literally any monster in the deck. 3 Conk, destroys a card. I run triple Haketo because this is a very grindy deck. I like the Eldlich engine to kind of facilitate grindier games. And if I am just kind of going in blind, I can send the extra Haketo to the graveyard to like get a Sanguine or like get a White Destiny, you know? So it helps with, it kind of helps with consistency and like helps the grind game, because you don't necessarily need 3 of these. I mean, you could arguably run 2 of these too, but I don't. And then 1 Golden Land Forever, searchable counter trap. It's very good. Today, I think like 4 or 5 times, honestly. Yeah, no, like it's a, so the thing is, if you're going first and you're going blind, this is one of your best options. If you're going second, but you're like, you know, maybe you're not sure that they're going to make you go second, you still keep this in just because it's nice to have. And if nothing else, you can just pitch it with Eldlich and it's fodder for that. So that's the Eldlich stuff. This is, I believe, it should be 18 cards. That's 31 cards. And then I have 9 kind of flex spots. So, Pot of Prosperity. So I saved up for a minute to buy these, and they are amazing. You do not care about your extra deck very much in this deck. About 1 turn into most games, if not like the first turn of most games, you can easily get rid of like the majority of your super poly targets, plus like just higher investment extra deck monsters. I main deck 3 Dark Ruler No More. This is like kind of a personal choice of mine. A lot of builds of Zombie Eldlich will run Forbidden Droplet, but when I look at this, I'm running 9 monsters because I've got the Zombie Engine and I've got the 2 Lords. Droplet is super resource intensive and doesn't actually like fix a lot of problems, because if you open a hand of like 5 spells and traps and one of them is Droplet, you know, that's just getting Warlord Savage negated 10 times out of 10. So it's like, it's just not that good. Dark Ruler No More just wipes the board. I didn't run into anybody who was playing like Dragon Maid stuff today, or like ending on Hot Red Dragon Arch Queen Abyss or whatever it's called. So this card was fantastic. Also, like Blank's Herald, I don't understand why you would discard a card to do that when you could just like slap it on the field, call it a day. And then the last one, this was the spoiler from earlier, 3 Ice Dragons Prison. So Zombie World makes everything on field and in graveyard zombies. So this card is crazy. However, this card does not work against the Drytron matchup, and moving forward, I could see it being cut for like Strike, Torrential. Dynamicious is one that I like, but the discard cost kind of conflicts with Super Poly because you want a lot of cards in your hand. But I mean, it's obviously a very good card. So that's the main, 40 card main. Yeah. We'll go extra next. Okay, so extra. So I have a buttload of Super Poly targets. I wasn't sure what to expect going into this, so some cards in here are going to seem a little sus, just heads up. This card is amazing. It is not sus. Yeah, so Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon. This is a dragon type monster for some reason, but it requires 2 zombies as materials. So Zombie World Super Poly, get rid of literally anything. I playtest a lot on YGO Pro, and I will run into people who will let me resolve a Zombie World for some reason, and then I just eat their board. Yeah, so that, like, this is mandatory. Sorry, I'm gonna put this here. World Chalice Guard Dragon Almarduke. 3 Link monsters. I wasn't sure if I'd be running into like Leerless, Tri-Brigade, Bird Up, Kit Kat, whatever you want to call it. So I decided to put this in because worst case it was just going to be a Prosperity Banish anyway. It never came up. I would probably cut this. I actually think that the Predaplant that takes 3 darks, I would probably Predaplant Drift Gaming. Yeah, I would probably put that in instead of this. I'm heavily debating it. Dragon Infusion Dragon, standard. This card outs like a pretty good number of boards. Trinket's Weather Washer. So, fun fact, before today, I have done probably like 4 to 5 locals. I play like a lot online, probably more than I should. I'm literally going to go home and do homework after this, but I played locals and I lost to a Trinket's player. Like, it was really debilitating. So, in addition to having outs like back row removal for the Pandemonium, I also put this in the extra deck now. Drago Stapelia. This card is a negate, and it handles Dragoon plus Verte. Card's crazy. Yeah, I really like this. This is a choice that I've kind of had in here for a while. It's not always the best, but like you'll find uses for it. Like you can, if you're playing against Invoked, Mechaba plus Unizombie, or like even better, Mechaba plus like Bloom into like Galar Drock or something crazy like that. Modragon of the Swamp, just another generic Super Poly target, very good. I go into this one just to like kind of outboards. I don't use it for like targeting protection or anything. Most of the time it's just kind of a monster. Yeah, so I would consider all of these kind of part of the zombie engine. It's like directly related to Super Poly. Then we have the links. Vampire Sucker. When a zombie monster is special summoned from the graveyard, draw 1 card. And then you can also target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it as a zombie monster to their side of the field in defense, which will then trigger the second effect to draw 1 card. Yeah. Also, this card has a passive effect where you can tribute your opponent's zombie monsters for tribute summons. That didn't come up today, but in testing, I have, like, Zombie World on field, got this on field, they have 2 monsters, I just, like, straight up tribute summon Eldlich. Yeah, which is, like, it's really funny. Sorry, also, Zombie World prevents tributing of anything but zombie monsters, so that's also kind of fun. Avenged Savior. This card reduces the attack of what it battles by the level of what it sends, and it foolishes for cost. So like, you can just straight up send Eldlich, make a card lose like 2,000 attacks, send Banshee, make it lose 800, and then also have access to Zombie World. You can send Bloom. Bloom activates in the damage step where it can't be ashed, and then you get Baylor Drop on field in the damage step for another attack. It's crazy. Predaplant Verte Anaconda. I had Dragoon at one point, and then I sold it because I hate that card. Well, more accurately, I hate the bricks. The card, well, I hate the card too, but that's a separate issue. Send Super Poly. Really, really cool. Also, this is like, there was an LCS where like, I think it was like Paulo Goncalves or whatever, he put Predaplant in his extra deck with no Dragoon specifically to make people, they'll Zeus the Verte, or they'll spin removal on the Verte. And that actually came up today for me, and it was pretty funny. But it's good bait, and it's also like, I mean, the effects are actually crazy. Like, this card is very good. Link Rebo, this is for Bloom to get into the graveyard. Then the special, so now these are all the, I would consider these all the zombie cards. It's like, there's like, okay, 2/3 of the extra deck, but it's like, it makes sense, because like, Eldlich doesn't need much more than an extra deck. One of the reasons I wanted to play this deck, Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. It's big. It is indestructible by battle or card effects. It can Snatch Steal by tributing a monster. Shout out to the Progression series. We love Snatch Steal. Not really. Yeah, so like this card is just really cool. It also helps facilitate OTKs. If you have Just gonna grab the deck here real fast. If you have Takedo and Eldlich on field, if I can find an Eldlich. So if you have these two on field and like a Super Poly in hand, this is 2,500 damage, this is 1,800 damage, and that's 43. This is 3,800 attack, so that's 8,100 damage in total. So that's like an OTK on its own. This deck is actually, people say that Eldlich is slow, and I disagree because the monsters are just gigantic. And also, like, there's a 50-50 shot that you just get completely blown up by like Harpy's Feather Thruster, but that's an issue for the side deck. Gustav facilitates OTKs. Pleiades. I saw some builds playing the like Crystal Zero Lancer or something or other. But that requires 2 extra deck spaces, and I wanted just a little bit more space, and I never went into it anyway. Like, it's cool in theory, but not like I just don't do anything in practice. So, Pleiades. I tend to banish this off of Prosperity a lot. Actually, I guess I can go over that in the end. Link Spider turns any Eldritch Spell Trap into a Eldritch Spell Trap into grade. And then I wasn't sure what people were playing, so this is kind of the most sus card in the extra deck. Intis, in case people are on like Maximus. I didn't run into any Shadal. I would cut this in the future. I've been to like 5 locals online, so I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I kind of have a better idea now. It's all Dragon Link.
Yeah. It's like if they have it, they have it.
Yeah, and the other thing though is that it's Prosperity Father. So in terms of Prosperity, I'll typically banish Intis. Sorry, let me turn these around. Intis, Pleiades. Pleiades specifically because it takes 2 Golden Line Spell Traps, whereas Link Spider takes 1. I'll banish Verte. This doesn't come up that much, but it's theoretically nice to have. I will often banish Savior because Unizombie does pretty much everything that this does, but it's nice to have. Most matches I'll banish Drago Stapelia, and then because Starving Venom covers a lot of what that covers, and then I will banish Elmarduke, and then kind of as an honorary mention, if I know I'm not playing Prank Kids, we'll go Weather Washer. Yeah. Okay, so then onto the side. The side is really, really fucking basic. Pardon my French. Feel free to edit that one out. Okay, so Three Nibiru. This card is a free win against certain decks. So I played so in the last round of Swiss, I played a PK player. I drew this as the 6th card, unfortunately. But I mean, this card is disgusting. Certain decks just can't play through it, and that's very good. And you have very easy removal for the token. The only issue that I see with this is that it conflicts with Sanguine. So you gotta be kind of careful with that. Luckily, since I didn't draw it today, it never came up. 3 Droll. So I was talking to that guy Brandon I mentioned earlier, who I shouted out. He was saying that I used to have a side deck that was 15 spells and traps, and he was like, you need to diversify your threat. And I think that Droll is, until my cycle readers come in the mail, probably the most effective way to stop Drytron. And even then, still one of the top ways. I Droll the Drytron player, and it turned out that he was bricking, but it's fine. But this card is incredible, and also it's not Dragon Link now because they add so much to their decks. 3 Cosmic, and then kind of in the same vein, 3 Twin. Shadal has historically been a very hard matchup for me. Ariel is incredibly bad, and these cards kind of help deal with Schism. They also deal with stuff like Pandemonium, and just in any back row heavy matchup, they will enhance your ability to play that matchup. Because Eldlich is very good at going in the back row, but this takes it to the next level. This can hit a set call better, Yeah, so that's back row hate. And then the last card, this is for going first. 3 Solemn Judgment. Typically, I'm setting out the Dark Ruler no more for this when I know I'm going first. I know this card costs a lot of life points, but as I've said before, Eldlich is very good at doing a lot of damage all at once. This card stops, blowouts like Lightning Storm, evenly matched, that kind of thing, unless they draw 2. And it also stops stuff like normal summon, so if it's, the Zodiac player normal summon Thoroughblade, I can Judgment that, and then, I'll just take the chance that they don't have the Barrage. So that's the deck. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations again, 7-0. Amazing.
Thank you.
First IRL event. I hope to see you doing more. Congratulations on winning, and thanks for that.
Thank you. Hi, Mom.